Hey everyone, it is Robin Ellis and the Sulphur-Crested Cockatoos of Budrum coming to you with a video for World MS Day 2026, which is coming up next Saturday. And today is, I believe, Sunday the 24th of May 2026 that I'm recording this. Now, I was trying to think, I wanted to come on here and share some information that's relevant to what the energies are this week. And for those of you who don't already know, I am diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I have been for 19 years now. I was diagnosed in December 2007 with my legs going numb and a lot of fatigue and issues in a sensory way at the time. And the diagnosis didn't come straight away. Obviously, a lot of us have multiple moments in our lives where something goes a bit off and you're like chasing doctors for answers as to what's going wrong with you. And part of my history has been bladder issues, bowel issues, cognitive depression, anxiety, and levels of thinking as well has been impacted, as well as obviously the sensory pins and needles, numbness, tingling, loss of balance at times, also vertigo, and foot drop is another one that tends to happen for me when I'm extra tired. I also associate a lot of my MS symptoms, past and present, when it does come along, with being stressed in different ways and forms, and overdoing it. The lack of spoons, or not having enough spoons to get through the energy of the day sometimes can be an absolute trigger for me as well. So despite all of the positive information that I've put out there over the years on my social medias and here on YouTube, I have moments still where I feel I get reminded that I have this still in my system. But for the most part, I manage it pretty well, and I'm very much self-managed with diet and lifestyle, exercise, mindset work. But I'm far from perfect. And I came to this energy healing work through my diagnosis as well. Having had a few energy healings with different facilitators of energy and discovering stuff like part of like why the MS came about, and numbing the gift that I have, and that being the gift that I can feel energy in people's bodies and emotions and that kind of thing empathically in a lot of respects, which has evolved into a lot of probably you could call it psychic, but intuitive guidance coming through. Hence why my recent adaptation of my title as a business person who does energy healing has morphed into intuitive healing and energetic transformation, because a lot of the work that I do does clear a lot of layers for people, whether it be past life, ancestral, this life, just physical body stuff going on, emotions, to clear away the cobwebs, the layers, the shadows, so that you can see the truth of what you're feeling and what's showing up for you in life, and maybe even what's blocked you in life because of past life or ancestral stuff. Just not necessarily knowing the story behind it per se, but the energy and the emotion behind it and why it's affecting you in a physical or emotional way, or professional or personal way. It varies for every individual, just like your MS diagnosis can. So that's why I'm here today, just to share a little bit of my story, because apparently the official global theme for MS, World MS Day in 2026, is talking about my MS diagnosis. And there's a campaign tagline of navigating MS together. And while I haven't had a lot of clients come to me for energy work that have been diagnosed with MS, it has helped me, the energy work, with my own diagnosis. And I'm happy to work with people on the subject of MS and chronic illness. And I've probably had more like fibromyalgia clients and other conditions that are chronic come to me than I have MS over the years. One thing that I have noted as the years have gone past, because I have worked in this field for probably close to 7 years now, has been the more my energy connection and intuitive connection to the work has developed, the harder it is for me to work with people that I am closer to, people that I personally have friendship or am a family member of, because a lot of what comes through, unfortunately or fortunately, can be quite personal, and you sometimes don't really want to get that personal and down deep into the depths of things and the shadow when it comes to being best friends or friendship groups or associated somehow on a friendship or family level. So if anyone who sees this is family or friends and they wonder why, when they're feeling a bit lowly, I don't just put my hand up and go and say, hey, I'll do a healing for you. That's why, because it can be a bit hard, and I've learnt the hard way over the years where I've gifted healings to people that I am close to, whether it be someone that I go to for a haircut or someone I'm a friend with, and I've gone and done stuff, and that it feels like the guidance and channeling that comes through can be a bit too hard to give the information of to them, because it is quite personal, and sometimes people don't want to take it on board as well, and I don't want to be the messenger of that truth that's coming from a higher power, not me. It's coming from somewhere outside of me, from the archangels of 100% pure divine light, or my team of 100% pure divine light, who can see stuff from a place that isn't always obviously visible for us. And that can be the case when it comes to our chronic conditions and the physical pain or emotional pain that we experience in life. And sometimes it's not always easy to face that. One such time for me was, it was great and easy, but not so easy. Like when I was first diagnosed and hearing about the Overcoming MS lifestyle, OMS as people might know it as. And I put it in the top drawer, Professor George Jelinek's book, when I was first diagnosed. And I couldn't deal with looking at that for 8 years. Because the thought of changing how I eat, my lifestyle, how I live my daily life was just too much to bear at a time when I was just coming to terms with the fact that people are saying to me that I won't be able to do this or that, or I could be disabled, or this is going to change. I just got married. I hadn't even had a baby yet, let alone anything else. It's like, oh, really? Too much, too hard. I just went down the road of going on the medications, the daily injections of Copaxone and that side of things. And then meditating, learning to do meditation, which didn't quite come as easily as I thought it would. And trying the exercise of Qigong and that sort of thing, which is all included in the Overcoming MS lifestyle. But the diet side of things was really scary for me. Eventually I came to my senses and I went to a retreat, and that was the best choice I ever made in my life with regards to this diagnosis in a lot of respects. To go and spend a week with others who were also on this path, whether it be they wanted to be there or they didn't want to be there. By the end of the week, everyone wanted to be there. Everyone had an aha or 50 ahas about their lifestyle, where they're at with their diagnosis and their health and their lifestyle choices. And also understanding that it's different for all of us. We're not all built the same. We're not all going to have the same results from the same tweaks in our life. However, it certainly had an impact, and it certainly was the beginnings of me coming to where I am today with regard to the energy work that I'm doing, the moving from Melbourne to Queensland, the change in climate and the adjustments, other than the mulch is really sucky up here. Like, mold isn't a good thing, and learning about that is hard, but at the same time it comes with the positives of the climate with regards to the temperature, with regards to being in more sunshine, being in an area for me that is more environmentally outdoors, perfect for me to enjoy daily. And also the stress side of things too, with regard to what had changed where I was living down in Melbourne, demographically, compared to where I live now in Queensland demographically. It's allowed, a lot more positive experiences to happen in my life and in the life of my child, which I did have a couple of years after diagnosis with the MS. And I still was able to, in fact, it was having a child that motivated me to make those changes that I was too reluctant to do in the beginnings when I was first diagnosed. Enough said there. I wanted to bring in the work that I do as an energy intuitive and healer, and bring in a few of the sprays that I use from Amanda Ellis at Angelic Celestial Colours, and some card messages for us on this World MS Day week leading into that coming Saturday that's following, the 30th of May 2026, just before the next full moon, which is happening on the Sunday the 31st, interestingly enough. And I follow a lot of moon stuff these days too. So the first spray I want to use is Archangel Chamuel, Love and Peace. Because having this diagnosis, you do need to bring yourself to that energy of love and peace within. Meditation practice, and also even the Qigong that I would do, which morphed into doing lots of yoga at one point. And I even did yoga teacher training a couple of years ago. Not that I've done a lot of yoga since, but I've gone into the Reformer Pilates as my exercise of choice of late. I'm hitting mid-age now, in my 50s, diagnosed in my 30s. So it's been a very road to coming to be at peace with self, and also navigating those moments where I get hard, like you notice, like you can get so hard on yourself. You might have a lot of perfectionism in your DNA and in your behaviors. If you've been diagnosed with something like this, I find taking things to heart, people pleasing. I found in the journey, just from witnessing others, a lot of us that have been diagnosed have come from professions where we are service-based people, carers, that kind of thing, whether it be nursing or the retail sector, which was me. I also did a bit of flight attending for a while and working in the banks, and dealing a lot with people and helping and being caring with people and others. And the empathic side of us can impact our health, because if we don't know how to protect our own energy, how to set up boundaries around it, it can impact us in so many ways that we don't realize isn't ours. And then in so doing, because I've done a lot of work with the medical medium information, Anthony William, a lot of his teachings and downloads from Spirit of Compassion result around like a lot of the viral infections that we could have exposure to. And we all know in the MS news and our articles that go out and about, the Epstein-Barr virus is a very big one with regards to our impact in our bodies. So learning to, hence why the overcoming MS lifestyle is quite good, is to suppressing that viral load. There's so many different strains of it. I think there's like 80 odd strains of Epstein-Barr virus. So being able to suppress it through dietary elimination of things that feed it has been a game changer. And it's hard. You've got to have a lot of love and peace with yourself and with others in the journey of changing your lifestyle and in adjusting things so that your body can heal, basically. So it's not like, I thought it was a lot to do with initially just that dietary thing that was the big impact, but also like there's an energetic side to it. Hence why I do what I do. And like clearing away those blockages that can stop us from actually even considering not having certain foods in our life anymore that feed those viral things that go on in our bodies that cause us to have the symptoms. It can be hard. And it was hard for me too. And I'm still not perfect. I still eat some things or consume some things that are probably not the best for me. But I've learned moderation. I've learned to bounce back from that as well. So with Archangel Chamuel, just feeling this heart energy for all of us. And this gentleness, the learning to be gentle and kind to ourselves. So we're going to pull an angel prayer card from the Kyle Gray Angel Prayers deck, just for some guidance for us in this MS Awareness Week 2026, World MS Day. It's a prayer for those of us who live with the chronic illness of MS. And again, Archangel Chamuel seems to be coming through, although we've got Raguel on this card. Peace and harmony. Thank you, Raguel, for surrounding my life in a harmonious light. And this is something that's very healing for us. Peace and harmony. So feel in that white light, that golden white light, which is testament to Archangel Raguel's energy. I see a lot of this when it comes to the body, physical body healing, and also emotional healing within clients. These colors are very dominant in the healing energy and the healing rays. And I'm feeling a lot going on as we speak in the brain. A lot of tweaking. I find a lot of the time when I do healings on people going through the chronic stuff in particular, there's a lot going on neurologically, as we know. And there's a lot of tweaking that goes on to help us when I'm doing energy healing on. So just feel that now as you are sitting here watching me. You might feel the little tweaks going on in the brain. It's like a brain surgery. I had a healing once from my dear friends, Helen and Sark. Years ago, I went through the phase of chronic cerebral spinal venous insufficiency as part of my healing journey with MS. And that's like getting an ultrasound on the jugular veins to see the flow of blood outside of the brain and the head, these jugular veins. And I had it ballooned open about 5 times until it wouldn't, this side would not work anymore. It got fused, scarred, and a lot of us have vein issues with this particular condition. And so, but when I had it, when it did work and when it did open up, it really gave me clarity in the headspace. It helped with the brain fog. It helped with my seeing of colors, my energy levels as well. It also fixed the issue I had when it came to temperature. I had trouble with heat. You know, you might wonder why I live in Queensland now when it gets so hot up here. But I had heat intolerance very big time in the early days of my journey with MS. But now it's like I'm a cold intolerant than I am heat intolerant. But when Helen and Sark did the healing on me, I could feel the same sensations that I would feel when I had that surgery for CCSVI when they were working on me. So energy healing, it's underestimated for what it can physically do. Not just the emotional blocks, but the physical stuff can shift for us as well. So peace and harmony message comes on page 72 of this card deck. I'm going to read the message from Archangel Chamuel. A wave of harmony is being washed over your life right now. Please trust that the angels are here to help you resolve any conflicts that have been disturbing your inner peace at this time. Take time to surrender to God and the angels any concerns you have about any conflicts or arguments, and allow them to lovingly guide you to peace. The angels are asking you to stand down from any conflicts that are going on in your life right now. Take a step back and allow the angels in so they can help restore the peace. They want you to know that they are aware of your challenges and the concerns you have. But until you trust them, nothing can change. Take heart. The angels of peace are here now, and they're encouraging you to let them bring the matter to a fair and peaceful conclusion. Archangel Chamuel. Archangel Chamuel's name means friend of God, and he is the angel of harmony. He works very closely with those who call on him to bring an end to conflicts and challenges. He helps us to remember the importance of relationships, both romantically and personally. It is important to have good people around us. Chamuel is one of the angels of justice, working closely with Michael and Zadkiel to resolve situations fairly and for everyone's highest good. Call on him for help in creating harmonious bonds in your relationships. And that can be something that can trigger us quite a lot in our MS journeys as well, is relationships and harmony and conflicts. I know for me, I started to write a book, which I've never finished, on my MS journey. I got up to the part where I'm here now kind of thing in the energy space. And looking back at particularly the younger years, like your 20s, my 20s in particular, when I finished school and got into the world of the workforce and working in customer service roles and that kind of thing, and being exposed to a lot more energies of other people and conflicts of, bad relationships, not just with other people, but with myself, and male-female relationships in particular. I'm feeling an unblocking energy. I burp a lot when I'm unblocking energy. You might have had a lot of stuff in the years leading up to your diagnosis, which were quite conflicting, and something else that I notice in my journey has been that when I have times in my life where there is conflict, stress, and at the moment there's a lot of that going on in the world collectively, I notice flare-ups. That's when things flare up in my body. The fatigue might get overwhelming. Depression might creep back in. Anxiety attacks may happen. Nervous system might go, ooh, you feel that shakiness in your whole body. You just bubble up. It burns. It's really quite tough. And then you might start to get the things like your symptoms that you predominantly get with your MS flare up. So bringing in Archangel Chamuel and bringing in that peace and harmony kind of energy, and the Archangel Chamuel, interestingly, love and peace, relationship support, can be beneficial. And a lot of us have a lot of shifts happen after diagnosis when it comes to friendships, relationships. It's just inevitable when you have such a hefty diagnosis and potentially even experience a lot of physical changes, lifestyle changes, even mental changes with regard to, I know for me, the grief of the diagnosis. That first year, I was in a spin. It was really difficult to be in crowds. You're in your early 30s, and a lot of people are getting diagnosed younger now, in their 20s, aren't we? And you're at that peak stage of being in a sociable space and being at parties and gatherings and concerts even, and it's really tricky to navigate that. And it can mess with our harmony within ourselves. So sending that harmonious energy, that golden white light of healing for relationships. Just breathe that in through the nose. And out the mouth. Breath work, very important. Just learning to breathe. Another reminder of my journey. I've always struggled with that breathe, that breath. I did television acting classes in my 20s, and I remember doing breath training in that class because it's important in being able to project your voice and even acting to have the breath under control. And I remember us lying down and learning to breathe through the diaphragm so that we didn't have that tightness, because that can be another symptom that we experience with this condition. So doing things that help with the breath, like that's why I go to yoga, not necessarily for the power flows and the really intense kind of yoga practice. If I were to continue and go and do yoga classes, I would be doing the yin or the gentle classes that stretch out your body and breathe your body and allow the release of the tension within your energy and your physical body to release. It's the work I do with this healing, but also like it happens when you go and do things like yoga. You might be very reluctant and think it's just a whole lot of BS, but let me tell you, it isn't. The whole mind-body connection that you get from a practice, even if it's chair yoga, it helps you to bring in mindfulness through movement and breath, not necessarily having to sit still there and just let your mind go like a lot of meditation can teach you. When you're actually like thinking about the stretch, the pose, the breathing in and out, and just like, even just like when you stretch your arms, like the breathing in and out. And the release that comes in the fascia and in your energy in those movements is healing. How many times over the years when I have gone to a yoga class and I've been in those poses and breathing that I cry, I sob, release happens and I let go. It is one of the most awe-inspiring, amazing things that you can do. And I vouch for it. It's not something that we were shown too much at the Overcoming MS retreat. It was more the Qigong, which is also breath and movement. Whatever you can do that is aligned with breath and movement, sitting, lying, whatever it might be, in whatever capacity that you can, do it, because it helps to release that which is holding in your energy field and causing you the chronic pain, the chronic headspace, that kind of thing. It really helps. That's also just downloaded from me as well as we, discuss this. It's all coming through. Next one I want to bring in is the Master Jesus spray, Christ light. This is Jesus energy, whether you're religious or not. Christ consciousness is here. It wants to be with us. And as you all know, Jesus was a healer, is a healer. Jesus is in all of us, just like God is within us. And like the color of this spray bottle, that's the color I see with his energy. When I started really connecting in, I used to live next door a couple of years back, probably 7 years ago, when I started doing this work really, to an evangelist. And I was at yoga, talking about yoga, at Easter time. And I felt like my palms just tingling. And that's when I knew that was like the Christ energy coming through me at the time. So I do a lot of work with the Christ energy as well. Amanda Ellis, the creator of these sprays, has a deck called Christ Consciousness Self-Mastery. So I want to see what message of guidance on our MS healing journeys for World MS Day 2026. What guidance wants to come through for those who tune into this channel and see this message. And he wants to share spiritual practice, structure and routine. Very much a healing tool for us on this journey. See on the card, we have an altar set up. The altar might contain items that mean something to you in your world of energy and life. Whether it be flowers, statues, sprays, crystals, candles, lighting a candle, feathers. And that altar can be a reminder to do the practice of meditation, as an example, or gratitude work. Being consciously aware of self. And in this instance, it looks like it's facing out of a window. That could be a window, it could be a painting of a outdoorsy scene. It's card number 48 in this deck. So let's read the channel guidance from Jesus that Amanda has done here with this card. You are reminded of the importance of taking time to pause and connect with your higher self and your core beliefs. A time to sort through mental clutter and noise and come back to a state of inner peace. Without a regular spiritual practice, life becomes more frantic, unfocused, and harder than it needs to be. Spending time in quiet contemplation, joyous singing, chanting, or prayer are all recommended. It can be done alone or with others, but regularity and adding structure to your routine will bring maximum benefits of well-being. Without spiritual focus and a practice to support it, we can quickly lose our direction and become distracted and out of harmony, forgetting our true nature as a child of God. It also can be a way to nourish ourselves, filling up our own cup so we can serve others better, having received what we needed first. A spiritual practice also helps us reaffirm daily what we believe and helps in our commitment to living a sacred life. It assists us on hard days when we seek help and during happier times too. Think about what you currently do to connect, offer thanks, ask for guidance, or listen to spirit. It may be that this is a call to continuation of those actions or a suggestion to adapt or start something new. Sometimes we can say prayers on automatic pilot, reciting well-known words without much conviction. But to be conscious of every word we utter or think takes prayer into a different level of communication. Meditation is also best done not squeezed into an expectation of what you want to think it should be, but rather a gradual unfolding of what it could be, which will change and flow accordingly. Having the space to listen and to be open to what arises is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. We surrender our will into thy will and become at one with the greater universe and God. Anything done with intention or is highlighted today. It could be via lighting a candle to remember a loved one, painting a mandala, doing a good deed to help another, observing silence, taking a mindful walk where every sense is alive to what wishes to be known or shown, or taking time to count your blessings and thank God for all you have. You may find it helpful to use tools to help still your mind, deepening your practice. These may include crystals, aromatherapy oils, prayer books, healing tinctures, incense, and more. Setting up an altar in your home or workplace can also help create a conducive environment. Fill this with meaningful things that help you connect. Photographs, artwork, statues, these things simply act as keys to help bring you into a deeper awareness, offering your senses cues that are helpful. Churches and places of worship have always been adorned with beauty. It is a way to celebrate God, but here no middleman is needed, and you create a direct and meaningful connection that enriches you deeply. You're also reminded that spiritual practice is about how we conduct ourselves and how we live our life. To make our life a living testament to what we hold true and to honor it is the biggest way we can demonstrate our practice every day, to live as Jesus would. And I have to say, like, for me, the home thing, sometimes I get a bit undisciplined doing stuff at home. But just before I hopped on tonight, onto this recording, I played all of my chakra bowls back here, the crystal bowls. Just that, and that frequency of the 432 hertz quartz, Australian quartz crystals, just helps me to get into the zone. And I often forget the routine of just simply doing that and going through that each day can be quite a mindful spiritual practice for me. So it could be something else that you do. Another one that I like to do, like I had the yoga thing going for quite a while, where I would go at least 4 days a week to a yoga class. And a lot of that includes meditation, going to meditation circles, or whether it be in person or online, or I've got a few recorded meditations, guided meditations that I'll hold my Lemurian crystal and my obsidian angel, and I'll like pop the earbuds in and rest on my table just here or on my bed and just go through the motions. I've played the bowls on some of the recordings that I've got, so I get the crystal bowls at the same time. That can be part of my spiritual practice as well. I go to the gym. I have a friend who also is a chronic warrior, different chronic conditions, but we both go and work out together. We do a lot of reformer Pilates, which has been my latest thing. It's helping me in this midlife stage of my life, as well as, strengthening my core muscles, which is something that I know for me is a weakness. And like when I work on that, I feel a lot stronger and a lot more empowered in myself. Learning to rest, learning to have many brain breaks is also important for me. And just nature, like getting outdoors. I've got this beautiful garden out here, this greenery, and looking at the birds and looking at the sky and the breeze and the wind and the leaves. In the summertime, floating in the pool. I love water. Floating at the beach, walking the beach. These are all things that can be part of a spiritual practice wherever you live. You might be in a place where it snows and you love getting out in the snow and just looking at that bright white snow and listening to that silence that happens when you're in that sort of an environment and just being still with it without fear of what might come through in your headspace. What might come through is a download of this is what you need today, and follow that download. That is all part of a spiritual practice and a healing journey, because a lot of us have come to this chronic condition in a way from like probably chronic stress, being not taking care of ourselves, not listening to what our body needs, what our soul needs, and just being a yes person to the world and what they're telling us we need to do or we have to do, and working ourselves to the bone and pushing. That's definitely not a conducive environment for those of us dealing with this MS thing. So it's very much like learning to be spiritual. And if you are still lucky enough to be working in a corporate job or working full-time work and doing the grind, carving out that time is going to be a savior for your health. Because I know a lot of the women that I spoke to at the Overcoming MS, another unblocking happening retreat, we were like in a dormitory and it's kind of like school camp, and talking our journeys and what happened when we were first diagnosed. Like some people were really knocked out, and you might relate to this, where that you could not move, you were stuck in bed, you wet yourself, you couldn't get out of bed, you were all alone and just totally knocked out, or you collapsed, or you lost your eyesight completely and you couldn't see. That's huge. absolutely huge, and you need to go to hospital, get IV drips and steroids and you name it pumped into you to come back. And from that, you just need to learn to adjust your life. That's what people don't realize, happens when this happens. You get knocked off your feet completely. And some of us, it's a milder knock off our feet, but it's a reality check for sure. And this guidance that Christ is bringing through on that spiritual practice and that structure and routine in our lives can be a savior. And learning to balance. A lot of occupational therapists, I've had MS occupational therapy in my time, can show us that it's important to structure your day so that you can take breaks, so that you can take moments to step out of the routine of go, focus, and just turn off and breathe and just be mindful in life and switch that brain off and switch that being able to move, go and exercise and move your body from, if you're in a chair and you still have mobility, getting out into the fresh air, that kind of thing. It's so healing for us. Okay, so I'm finishing off on Archangel Raphael. One of my lovely things that I absolutely enjoyed doing and have found to be one of my main guidance things is animal messages. Whether it's seeing animals or visioning animal energy. So I'm bringing in Archangel Raphael, who is balance and harmony. And it goes exactly with what we're talking about with all of these cards and the energy of our strategy moving forward after diagnosis of MS and staying well. Archangel Raphael is my archangel guide of 100% pure divine light, who will be brought in when it comes to physical body healing especially, and that emotional energetic connection with that. We were talking at the beginning, that whole brain tweaking thing. I'm blocking some energy there. But he's my psychic surgeon. He's the guide that comes through and actually really, I'm seeing a lot of shadow energy just through our core, wanting to clear and unblock through our core, through our spinal cord even. A lot of it, I had lesions on the spinal cord, just at the base of my neck and a little bit down at the base. I have had pre-diagnosis experiences with my back fully going out, like the day after my wedding, the stress of that, wedding thing. And I hadn't been diagnosed at this point. And all of the people coming to visit, being there and just being on show, turned on for the whole experience of getting married. If you've been there, done that, you understand. And then I sneezed and my back, and it was like in sickness and in health. Husband had to help me up and off the toilet, you name it. It was just, we're talking about being knocked down. Far out, that was painful. If you ever have a backache, put your back out, you'll understand that feeling. It's horrible. Tension. Anyway, getting back to Archangel Raphael. Yeah, he's getting into our spines at the moment and the nerves that connect up to the brain. There's a lot of, I'm feeling detox, like I've got dry throat right now. And that's what he'll help instigate detox, physical detox in our bodies. We're talking about Epstein-Barr virus and the other viral loads that we carry as part of our condition. He's like getting in there and bringing that through for us. I'm feeling heart, chest, lungs, thyroid, brain, gut, wherever it is in you, he's getting in there. So receive as you're watching this. Let's see what the animals want to share for us. We've got the dog energy coming through. Be disciplined in your home and community life. Archangel Zariel. This is a Diana Cooper Archangel Animal Oracle. So we've got dogs. The dog. What does the dog want to share? 33 is the number. I love 33, 33. Be disciplined in your home and community life. All canines, wolves, foxes, domestic hounds, and others originate from Sirius, where the gold ray of Christ is kept. They incarnate to bring this unconditional love energy to earth and to pass this pure light to other animals and people. Dogs are mainly learning about various forms of family structure. The spiritual purpose of domestic dogs is to be companions to humans. They have surrendered the familiarity of their own kind to support us. They are giving and receiving love while learning and teaching about discipline and loyalty. Foxes are learning the art of adaptability, whereas dingoes and wild dogs are developing independence, resourcefulness, courage, and a sense of adventure. All dogs are loyal to their families and selflessly protective. The guidance that comes with this card, with the dog, is when you receive this card, you're invited to look at the structure of your family life and your friendships, including those with work colleagues. Are you loyal to each other? Do you respect each other? Do you all relate to each other for the highest good? Are you disciplined or chaotic in your lifestyle? Your family reflects you. So are you loyal to yourself? Do you respect yourself? Do you make choices for your highest good? You're reminded that spiritual discipline, the foundation for true happiness and joy, is the foundation for true happiness and joy. It is the keystone of ascension. The dog card wants you to know that when you consistently practice your spiritual techniques, you can be adaptable, courageous, and develop a sense of adventure and fun. Your entire life can expand based on this solid foundation. As self-control confers safety, you can then walk forward in joy and bliss. So, what does that say? I mean, I know family can end up being our carers. Family can also be our triggers. A lot of family triggers have been healed in my journey, I know that for sure, and continue to be. And also, it can be our biggest supporter. As we go through this journey, a lot of our friendships can shift. And also our family dynamics can shift. I know for me, it felt hard early days because you got this whole sympathy thing going on for your diagnosis. Like, you might not have anyone else in the family that has been diagnosed with MS. And people don't understand it other than the MS readathon or, fundraisers that might have happened in the past. And when you go on the path like I did with regards to changing how you eat, it can be a big adjustment because you don't realize how much stuff that you were consuming through family patterning even, and that can be detrimental to your health. And that was a huge adjustment for me on my journey. If we're talking about my MS diagnosis and navigating together, not everyone goes down the path that I chose eventually of dramatically changing how I lived. And that can affect the dynamics of your relationships with family and friends and your activities in life. Like, it's harder to go out and eat these days. It was hard to go to family events and rely upon taking your own dish to eat because none of what was served up as, a communal meal was on your lifestyle directive, because the ingredients, but you have to educate each other, and that's part of the discipline and part of the community that we create. That's what's important too, is like being amongst others with our condition can be helpful, because we can work together to create ways of supporting each other, whether it be nutritionally, emotionally, spiritually, and creating our own families within our communities. But I must admit, I don't have a lot of friends that are diagnosed with MS. I kind of keep to, I've gotten quite, just staying within my little family of 3, basically, majority of my life, and not really expanding that. And I guess part of my future would be maybe getting a bit more community life aware and happening. I know something that's come up for me recently, and like looking in chat groups and seeing the social media being what it is now, and people like putting it out there of new earth kind of energy, of having communities that support the healing journeys of people with MS, as an example, where we can all be in tiny homes in a community neighborhood, growing our own food, doing holistic practices that help heal us, like the energy work that I do. Swimming in the pool, as an example, float therapy, very healing, meditation circles. And like, I honestly would love it if we could have cafes in every neighborhood that supported our lifestyle with the fresh foods and clean foods that are best for our healing journey. You'll notice that when you do eat clean, how much more vibrant and energetic and energized and healed you feel. And I've done many a cleanse, well, not that many, but a few over the years that have had me bouncing off the walls. Hard to do on your own, and hard to like prepare the food and stay on track. Particularly, I did the medical medium 28-day cleanse, and it was just salads and smoothies for the whole week and juice. And far out, I broke a tooth in that time, but I also was bouncing off the walls, absolutely bouncing off the walls with vibrant energy and feeling so clean and bright. Maybe, if we could have groups that did that together, and retreats that could feed us in that way and help us be educated in how to prepare it and maintain it for yourself, would be pretty amazing, I think, navigating MS together in that way. But on another thing that's really been a challenge that I've noticed in the energies has been the fact that a lot of us do lose our livelihoods. It can be financial challenge for us. That can be also another trigger that brings upon symptoms. And a lot of the time we can have the unfortunate circumstance of not being able to afford the therapy that would benefit us, or afford the lifestyle that would benefit us. Even just going to the GP for a checkup on things is out of reach for many of us these days. I would like to see that change. If anyone's got any hints and tips on that, pop it in the comments below. Pop links to groups, services, that kind of thing. If you see this and you know of places that can help others that see this, that are in our community with MS, because I'm hoping that this video can reach other people that I haven't reached before because of the topic that we're talking about, which is my MS diagnosis and navigating MS together, and World MS Day 2026. Sharing our journeys in the comments, relating to each other and going, yeah, I've had that too, I experienced that too. I've done energy healing as well. It's helped me. I love yoga. I hate yoga. It's not been my thing, but what has worked for me is this. Pop it in. Let's get a conversation happening with each other and maybe make some connections with each other through this video, this work that I'm doing here. It's all free. I'm not gonna like jump on you for anything in the comments other than camaraderie, friendship, community on this World MS Day 2026. So we have until next Saturday when it ends. I haven't really done a lot with it. Back in the past, I've done MS walks in the month of May, the May Walk for MS that we have here in Australia. And yeah, I don't so much go into the donating to the MS charities so much these days. I'm more on my own. I prefer to take the high road to my own sovereignty with it, and following my own path. But you never know. If I see a change happening within the MS Australia, World MS groups that aligns more to the things that I know help me with my life and navigating MS diagnosis and healing self. Not that I claim to heal fully, but you know, it's more about staying in a good place with it, staying mobile, staying functioning, staying happy, staying light, and riding the wave of health. That's what I'm here to do. And if anything like energy healing, intuitive healing, card messages just for you, and guidance, and you coming to your knowing and self, that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to clear the layers for people so that they can come back to their soul self and know what they're needing, like being able to be in tune with their own bodies and their own needs for their own health benefit. That's what I'm here to do. That's predominantly a lot of the work that I aim to do with the work that I do here with my business, Inspired Robin, energy healer, intuitive healing, energetic transformation. Reach out to me, hop on my website, inspiredrobin.com, if you are interested, or pop a comment below. But most predominantly, I'm here to have conversations. Let's grow community and help each other, because that's what this World MS Day, I feel, is predominantly about. It's about us talking about our diagnosis, our navigating it, how we've navigated it, what's working for us, and how we can help each other as community. I'll leave it there. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sitting with me for nearly an hour doing this work. I'm talking about my journey and the things that I've noticed help with this diagnosis. And have a wonderful World MS Day 2026 on the 30th of May 2026, next Saturday. Bye for now.